I want to welcome in House Republican Whip Eric Cantor of Virginia. Good morning, Congressman. Good to see you.
Good morning. Good to be with you.
So we know now what the president is expected to speak about later today. What do you think he hopes to achieve?
Well, I mean, obviously, I think most presidents do go to the United Nations, address the world, and promote really the U.S. leadership. The challenges that we face here in this country globally are so many that we have and expect, I think, a lot over the next coming months. The issue really should be, though, that we've got to focus on the economy here at home. The success of the foreign policy this president is promoting, the success of the energy policy, the climate policy is all predicated upon U.S. economic strength. And right now, we are not in very good shape in that department.
I couldn't agree more that the economy has to be the top priority, and clearly he's got to step up to the plate, particularly with those G20 leaders later this week, and explain our way out of this deficit, what we're going to do, and how he's going to propose, from what I hear, a larger U.S. savings rate here in the country, and some talk about whether or not large export countries like China perhaps have to rely more on their own individual consumers. What do you make of that?
Well, you know, first of all, we've got to get our own financial house in order here in this country. As we have seen over the last almost 9 months, the United States has incurred more debt than this country has incurred in the last 200 years. Essentially, when you take in the unfunded obligations of Medicare and Social Security together with the almost $10 trillion worth of deficit over the next 10 years, some have said that the per household obligation is about $483,000. That's 10 times the annual median income of a household here in this country. That is unsustainable. So what we really need to do while we're looking at trying to address the joblessness in this country is to take into consideration the government just cannot continue its march to take over just about any industry we have.
What would you like to see the president say to the fellow G20 leaders?
Well, I think that the issue before the G20 members is obviously the economy. It's obviously that group of nations is looking to the United States for our leadership. What I would like to hear the president say is we are working hard to try and promote job growth in this country. If we can get confidence revved up again in this country, I think we can begin to see jobs created again. The problem right now is investors around the world are looking at the economy here and wondering, first of all, whether the federal government is going to be able to meet its obligations. And second of all, we've got entrepreneurs, small businesses across this country without any access to credit. So I would hope to think that the G20 community could hear from President Obama and with his plans of how we're going to address the situation of the credit situation as well as the deficit.
Congressman, I want to get into health care for just a moment because it's become so partisan, it's so frustrating to watch, and it feels like we're not moving the ball down the field. Senator Max Baucus sits down yesterday, goes through many of those amendments. He's received over 500 amendments. And yet, do you believe he's made any progress? Do you believe we're headed toward a reform that you're comfortable with?
Well, first of all, I think the word on the Baucus bill is who supports it other than Senator Baucus? With 500-plus amendments and no Republicans joining Senator Baucus, very few Democrats on board with him, I think that bill has already run into a lot of difficulty and almost a buzzsaw. So what we really should be doing, in my opinion, is pushing the reset button on health care reform. We've got plenty of areas we can agree upon. If we guarantee the people of this country that the government will not get in the way of individuals, patients' decision-making with their doctor, if we can guarantee to the American people that the government will not be in a position to deny care based on any reason whatsoever, gender, age, or what have you, if we can guarantee the people of this country we're not going to break the bank with health care reform, there are plenty of areas we can agree on. And that is, number one, we should be addressing the issue of pre-existing conditions. Both sides think that needs to be done. There are proposals on the table. Senator John McCain had said universal access programs are something that we should be starting at the state level.
I mean, Congressman, I'm surprised to hear you say we should be hitting the reset button. Has the conversation that we've had over the past 3 months done nothing toward moving us toward health care reform? I mean, I understand there's a lot of bills on the table that you're not happy with, but do you think the American people have the will to hit the reset button and have this conversation for another 5 months?
Well, I think nearly 60% of the public is now dissatisfied with the direction of this debate. Most people in this country think that the president's health care reform bill needs to be scrapped and we need to start over. I believe they think that because they see a government takeover of health care in this country. And I know the president disagrees with that, but that's where the public is. I believe the public is there because the notion of a public option is counterintuitive to most people, because if we're going to have a government that makes the rules, to then assume you're going to have a government then in competing under those rules, I think speaks to the fact that you will not only have an option, that frankly there is a design inherent in that formula which will produce a single-payer system. People in this country don't want that. They want the quality they become used to here.
All right, Congressman Eric Cantor, thank you very much. Good to see you.
Thank you.